Where's it coming from? Is it gonna fall from the clear blue sky? No, it's not that easy. It's gonna come from you and I. So why won't you be the world that you want? You be the world.
Crossfire. On the left, Tom Braden. On the right, Robert Novak. In the Crossfire, Washington Times columnist John Lofton and rock musician Frank Zappa.
Good evening. Welcome to Crossfire. What you've got here is suggestive, and I don't find it objectionable. But when you actually listen to the words of the songs, you get a shock. Personally, I find some of them in such bad taste as to make me physically ill, and some of them I wouldn't have in the house. Now, on the other hand, do we want the government to ban the sale of records with lyrics the government doesn't like? Do we want the government to say this is okay, but this one will have to go? And who should be the government censor? Whose job should it be to listen all day to dirty records and decide whether you can? Do you want censorship of records as is now being proposed in Maryland and in congressional hearings, or do you want to make the decision on your own? Take it or leave it, all by yourself. Bob?
Mr. Zappa, let me see if I can get your position straight. Are you saying that there is no filth, no pornography, no obscenity that should not be permitted to be sold and distributed freely in this country in the form of music videos and rock music?
I don't think that music qualifies as pornography. And especially since this whole business started with words. We're talking about words here.
All right.
All the complaints were about words.
All right, take the pornography out there. Is there no filth, no obscenity that you think would qualify to be suppressed?
We're talking about words, and I don't believe that there is any word that needs to be suppressed.
Okay, my name is Frank Zappa. This is my attorney, Larry Stein. The concern is a matter of taste on for the individual parent and how much sexual information that parent wants to give their child at what age, at what time, in what quantity, okay? And I think that because there is a tendency in the United States to hide sex, which I think is an unhealthy thing to do, and many parents do not give their children good sexual education in spite of the fact that little books for kids are available, and other parents demand that sexual education be taken out of school, it makes the child vulnerable, because if you don't have something rational to compare it to, when you see or hear about something that is aberrated, you do not perceive it as an aberration.
Well, look, Mr. Zappa, we're not talking about just words. When we talk about rock videos, we're
not talking about rock videos.
I beg your pardon, but
the whole thing is words.
I beg your pardon, but what they're trying to
they're selling it with rock videos. What they're trying to restrict
in Maryland is also obscene rock videos.
No, they are not.
No, they're trying to apply the obscenity language to videos and to records. But why do you underestimate the power of words? Words have consequences. They have impact on people. Now, I agree with you that the first line of responsibility is the family to stop the kind of garbage that we're talking about here today. But good grief, can't we call on our government to help us in this fight, Frank? I mean, you have kids. Are you an anarchist? Is it the government's role to do nothing about this?
No, I'm a conservative.
So I think that the record industry has been damaged, has been given a very bad rap by this whole situation, because it's been indicated, or people have attempted to indicate, that there is so much of this kind of material that people object to in the industry, that that's what the industry is. It is not that at all. Some of the albums that have been selected for abuse here are obscure. Some of them are already several years old, and I think that a lot of deep digging was done in order to come up with the song about the anal vapors.
Mr. Zappa, for example, you told this hearing last September that in America, quote, there is a tendency to hide sex, unquote. That is the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard. Sex is everywhere in America. It's on TV, radio, videos, advertising. What do you mean we hide sex in America?
You do hide sex in America, because if given the choice between putting erotic sex into a television show or putting violence, usually it is the violence that is opted for.
How about both?
Putting both in?
Yeah.
Or you mean in combination?
Oh, I mean both. I mean the television is full of sex right now.
It's not really sex. It's full of titillation.
How about advertising? Is that full of sex?
It's titillation.
Mr. Zappa, when somebody mentioned the videos, you said, hey, no, this is not it. Why don't you want to talk about the video?
The reason I don't want to talk about the videos is the issue came up over the lyrics and what they've done in trying to promote the issue. If rock videos did not exist, they wouldn't have had those flashy little bumpers to put on before each of the local news shows when they would do a story on this.
Do you feel differently about rock videos then, that they should be censored?
No, I don't. I just think that you shouldn't even discuss them when the topic is words.
But I mean, we can discuss anything we want.
Oh, sure. But apropos of this
But you think anything goes on the rock videos just like anything goes on the lyrics?
Sure.
I'm told that there is a rock video that it's about to come out that has a school teacher undressing in front of a student.
It's out already. It's one of the ones they use for bumpers. They showed it at the Senate hearing. It's called Hot for Teacher, and the group is Van Halen.
What do you think of that?
I think it's amusing.
Amusing. Do you think kids should see it? Why do you think kids should
because
see it? Tell people what it's about a little bit. He thinks it's amusing that you might have a grade school class that is hot for teacher in a sexual way. Why is that amusing?
Why shouldn't it be amusing?
Well, you're not smiling. You don't look too happy about the
Well, why should I smile sitting here with you?
Well, you can fake it, Frank.
I like him better than you. Does that give you a rough idea of what's going on here?
It sure does. But, of course, I had that before I came here. What's amusing about it?
That is amusing to the people who like the concept of here comes the teacher. You expect the teacher to be sour. The music starts. The teacher takes off her clothes, and she is wearing some kind of a bathing suit like in a beauty contest and does a dance on the desk, and the kids look up, and they are having a good time.
Well, that's a real laugh riot, Frank.
This argument basically is about the 7 dirty words that the FCC complains about. And that's what it is. And I don't see any reason to keep people from hearing those syllables put together. Those are not magic words. That's not abracadabra. You're going to turn into something.
Do they have an impact, you think?
Certainly they do. And it depends on how they're used and in what context. In fact, the big one, the one that starts with the F, has maybe 15 different ways in which it can be used in language.
Because, as I said, if you put a rating on the record, it goes directly to the character of the person who made the record. Whereas if you rate a film, a guy who is in the film has been hired as an actor, he's pretending, you rate the film, whatever it is, it doesn't hurt him. But whether you like what's on the record or not, the guy who made it, that's his art. And to stigmatize him is not fair.
I think your answer about where hope is supposed to lie shows the bankruptcy of what once used to be the radical message. We have millions of kids in this country, Frank, who may be suicidal, who see no meaning in life, who see no hope in life, and you're going to tell them that the hope is in registering to vote, Frank? Are you serious?
Are you trying to dissuade them from registering to vote? Are you trying to dissuade those kids from running for office? Is that what you're doing?
I mean, we're talking about kids that don't know the meaning of life, Frank, and you're telling them to vote?
We are out of
That's no
time.
answer.
We want to thank Mr. Zappa for being our guest on Crossfire.